Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and I am here again today to catch back up with Life Plus Cindy. lots of requests once again for me to check in on her because this weekend, or actually I don't know what day it was, I had a really busy weekend. We were dog sitting for a friend. His name is Milo. Not the friend, but the dog's name was Milo. And y'all, he is a totally different type of crazy than posed kind of crazy. So having two crazy dogs in our house at once really kept me busy this past weekend. And on top of that, we had like two different birthday party things to go to, and just a lot was happening. But I did see both the video that Cindy posted and the requests that people gave me to cover the video that Cindy posted. And so we're gonna do that today. Now the video is titled Apology Plus a Message to the Chronically Online, which those two things all together, right? Like saying apology and then following it up with a message to the Chronically Online doesn't feel very hopeful to me when it comes to thinking about just like how serious this alleged apology is. I'm guessing, and I haven't watched this video, I'm literally gonna watch this apology video with you all right now in this moment, but I'm guessing that the apology is in reference to something that I brought up in the last video of Cindy's that I covered. So I posted a video about her doing a tarot card reading for Amberlynn Reed, but also in that video I briefly covered how in a vlog, in a separate thing entirely, in a vlog, she went to a concert with her new boyfriend that she's like obsessed with, and in that video they bought drinks at this concert. The drinks were really expensive, and I'm using their language specifically here, so content warning that we will be talking about language that deals with sexual assaults. But her boyfriend says that the prices of the drinks raped them, and then she laughs about it and also says, yeah, they really raped us, or something along those lines. Here's the actual clip just for your full context as we go into today's video.
Y'all, we just bought 2 Jack and Diet Cokes, $67 for 2 Jack and Diets. We can't even afford to get drunk here.
Yeah, we just got raped.
We got raped.
And like I mentioned at the time, a lot of people in her comments were really upset about it. Whenever I shared about it on my video, people in my comments were really upset about it. And yeah, I think there's a lot of other ways that they could have conveyed how they were feeling without making a joke about sexual assault or things like that. In that video, I also mentioned a time on her channel where she made some insensitive jokes and comments about Mexican food at a Mexican restaurant, and also some comments about sending her leftover food to starving children in Ethiopia. One thing that I want to make sure to correct about my video is that I said in my video that she didn't ever really apologize for that or take accountability for that, and that was not entirely true, and that was pointed out by some people in my comment section. I think the main reason that that's how I remembered it is because whenever it first came out, there were people that commented on the video, and Cindy had some very snarky responses to those comments on her video. Specifically, she said things like, "Don't care," and "Dude, stop taking yourself so seriously." So in my head, I had this memory of her just like not taking it very seriously, but a lot of people, well, a handful of people did point out in my comments that she actually did address it on a live stream. So I was like, surely then I covered that somewhere on my channel, and I went back and looked at the playlist that I have, which I'll leave the playlist of all the Life Plus Cindy videos I have, and also a link to this particular video that I'm about to talk about so that you can go check it out. But she did do a live stream when she returned. So she made the like insensitive comments and a number of other bad things happened to her in her life, and so she just like privated the majority of her videos on her channel and disappeared from the internet. And when she came back from that disappearance, she did a long live stream where she addressed many of the concerns and issues that people had with her channel. And she did in that live stream address the comments that she made at the Mexican restaurant, and I think she would call it an apology. I think it was an apology. I think it was not a great apology. I watched back that part of the video today, and my take at the time of filming was that it seemed like she wasn't really sorry that she said the problematic things, but mostly that she was sorry that she got caught. I still pretty much believe that when I look back on it. I think she's very clear that like she didn't intend to hurt anybody, and I think that's great. I think intentions are great, but I don't think it was like a very solid apology when it comes to like really taking accountability and, you know, demonstrating that you're going to change the way that you talk in the future. It's not really my apology to accept. I think it's the apology of people who were upset with her, who personally took offense to it because they were Mexican. But just from having watched a lot of YouTuber apologies over my time on the internet, I don't think she did a great job at apologizing then. Although I do need to correct what I said in my last video, which is that I originally said she didn't take any accountability, and it does seem that she, you know, did try to take accountability, and I had honestly just forgotten about it, because what stuck in my mind was those comments that she replied to on her video where she was like, I don't care, and stop taking everything so seriously. So like that is what stuck in my head. But yeah, she did try to make an apology once upon a time about it. Now I think it's important, like an important part of apologies for me and like learning to forgive people and stuff like that is that their behavior has changed. And I think that that's my concern here, is that, you know, Cindy has gone on to say more insensitive stuff without really thinking about it or seemingly caring about it until after she's already gotten caught. It's not necessarily a red flag to bring up like people being chronically online, but I do sometimes see it as a red flag for people to call out people for being chronically online when it comes to addressing criticism that they're receiving for being offensive. Does that make sense? Like, it feels like a deflection on Cindy's part, and obviously we'll see what she really means by this, but the fact that it's in the title kind of feels like deflection already right off the bat to me. It's like, oh, like, I'll apologize, but y'all are so sensitive. Y'all are so chronically online that you're sensitive over everything. And like, in the real world, off the internet, people aren't that sensitive. That's the vibes that it's already giving, and I haven't even watched the video. So, you know, I'm willing to hear her out, but the title is already so off-putting. So I think I've rambled enough. Hopefully that quick little background reminder of her previous experience on the internet when it comes to apologizing for offensive things is helpful. But yeah, let's just get to, shall we?
Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a little short and sweet. I just wanted to come on here and kind of address a couple of issues. So the first thing I want to talk about is my recent video where Ted and I went to the Pixies concert and we paid $67 for 2 rounds of drinks, and we used a word to describe overpaying for drinks that upset a lot of people. This was kind of surprising to me. Like, obviously if I would have known that this would have upset so many people, I wouldn't have used the word, or I would not have obviously put it into the vlog.
Sorry to pause so quickly. One, I'm surprised that she's surprised, and I think that just really says a lot about Cindy. But I guess I'm just surprised that she's surprised, because I feel like Cindy often, and maybe she doesn't do it intentionally, maybe this is just me, you know, like reading into who she is as a person, as somebody that's like a little witchy and talks about like, you know, caring about people and stuff like that. Like, I've just always kind of interpreted or like, you know, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? I've just always kind of assumed that Cindy is, I don't know, more progressive than she clearly is. Like, and now especially after like all of these examples, I'm not sure why I feel that way. But even if you're not progressive, right? Like if you're not like somebody who cares a lot about those things, like I think it's pretty like universally accepted that like that language isn't cool to use, or like to make light of things like that isn't cool to use. But then the other thing I want to say, regardless of if she should have known about it or not, the other thing I want to say is that language, having just rewatched my video where I covered her talking about the Mexican restaurant incident, that language almost exactly mirrors what she said in her apology for that, which is that if I would have known, I would have never posted it, I would have never said it, if I would have known that it was going to upset you. Which to me, again, is less like, sorry that I hurt you, like energy, and more of, sorry I got caught energy. That's just my take on that.
Let me start by saying that I myself am a victim of sexual abuse, so I do understand the pain and trauma that comes with that. Mm-hmm. This is not something I've ever talked about publicly, nor will I ever talk about publicly, but it is something I have experienced firsthand in my own life. So I do have empathy for people who have gone through something similar. Okay. And the last thing I ever want to do is hurt anyone who's gone through that. I don't want to hurt anyone at all in any way, ever. I don't want to hurt my viewers. I don't want to hurt my haters. I don't want to hurt anyone in the world ever again. We have all been hurt enough. If you watch this video and you were genuinely hurt or upset by my words, I just want to apologize to you from the bottom of my heart.
And this is like, again, this is, well, a couple things. I think it's very, like, I appreciate her sharing. Like, she certainly didn't have to share anything about her personal experience. I think that that's helpful in knowing. I also think, and this is something that happened whenever the Mexican restaurant situation happened, there were a lot of people in my comments at the time that were like, well, I'm Mexican or I'm Hispanic, and that didn't offend me. I wasn't offended by that personally. I do just want to say that even if you have like an identity and you are not personally impacted by the thing that was negative towards that identity, that doesn't mean that other people weren't. And I'm not saying that that's what Cindy's trying to say, but I think it is a good reminder that, like, you could still, like, we don't all have to be offended by the same things, but that doesn't mean that, like, it didn't truly offend somebody. The other thing that I think is also interesting is that she posits this, like, apology with prefaces. She prefaces this apology with, if you were genuinely hurt. So the if suggests that, like, you know, it's possible people weren't, when there are many people who are saying, like, yes, I was hurt, it did happen. So there's not really an if about it. There have been many people who have commented and said that they were hurt by it, right? So that you don't have to preface with an if. And then you certainly don't need to add the genuinely upset about it, because that, to me, suggests that Cindy thinks that there are some level of people who weren't genuine about it, and thus this apology is not for them, right? Like, I think that that's a weird way to preface it, when you could just be like, hey, I read your comments, I understand your concerns, and I am genuinely sorry that I hurt you. If you want to use the word genuinely, use it to describe how you feel about the situation, not the assumed genuineness of the people who express their concerns to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's the right thing to do, because that was never my intention. We were not trying to invalidate victims of sexual abuse or belittle them or make light of their experiences at all. It was just a stupid word that we used to describe overpaying drinks, and neither of us thought anything about it, obviously, or I wouldn't put it in the blog.
Clearly.
I am truly sorry if it upset or genuinely hurt anybody out there. I really am. I know everybody is in a different place in their healing journey, and you may be in a place where that triggers you, and I'm sorry for that. It's the last thing I ever want to do. At the same time, I do believe that if you want to be happy, you can't go through life just being outraged and triggered and offended by everything that you see or hear. Like, you are the only one who can make you feel anything. And that was like...
Honestly, I know it might have sounded like I was, like, a little nitpicky in this first 2 minutes of the video. And honestly, actually, if I could go back, maybe I'd be less nitpicky about it, because overall, I would say the first minute and a half, despite those couple of things, not a bad apology. You know, like, I would have changed the way I worded things so that it came across a little bit more sincere. You know, I'm not entirely convinced. Well, I'm really not convinced now. Actually, you know what? Maybe my nitpicking was worthwhile, because for her to come in here and follow up all of that apology with this statement that she just said, which is essentially like, You know what, though? At the end of the day, you're responsible for you. You're responsible for your own happiness. You can't live life just getting outraged. Ma'am, you just sat here and talked about how you would never want to hurt anybody. You know, an easy way to just not hurt somebody is to not make jokes about things using the word rape. Like, it's so easy. That's an easy way to not hurt people. Like, I just don't get it.
It's like one of the most important lessons that I've learned in my journey, my mental health improvement journey up to this point. The most important thing I did was to take responsibility for my own emotions and my own feelings and realize that nothing anybody says or does can impact me if I don't let it. For so long, I lived in a victim mindset. I thought everything was happening to me, everything was somebody else's fault. When I got upset, it was because they did something bad to me or they said something I didn't like. And that was a fucking shitty way to live, man.
I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable. You have your own journey, your own experience, and listen, I've watched a lot of the things that you do, and you are quick to blame other people for the way that you're feeling in terms of like people holding you accountable for your own behaviors and things like that. I don't understand why you're lecturing people on how to handle their own mental health when, like, it's clear you're still working on your own. And I think it's more than reasonable for people to just, like, ask you to change your language. I think it's, like, this idea that people are outraged when, like, I think people are genuinely just asking you to change your behavior or behave differently in the future. I just don't think it's a good look for you to be like, hey, y'all, maybe what you need to do is join me on my healing journey, my enlightenment that I have about my own mental health, because I've clearly demonstrated multiple times that I'm taking such good care of my mental health on my channel. She hasn't. But like, I have reached this enlightenment, so y'all just need to get on board with me and be enlightened like I am. Like, one, that's just, like, so unfair to the people in her comments who are at all different types of places. And two, it's just a little hypocritical because I have seen this girly pop not handle her mental health in a good way multiple times. Like, she's the last person that needs to be lecturing anybody else on how to handle their emotions or respond to things that might, trigger trauma for them or make them feel some type of way. And also, people are allowed to feel things. Like, I don't know. This is a wild response to me. Like, you're doing so much right now for no reason.
And when I took responsibility for the way I feel, when I took responsibility for my own emotional regulation and well-being and didn't let anybody else said impact me, then it made my life so much better, and I wish the same for everybody out there.
She said, my life is so good, you can say any kind of offensive comments to me and I'm gonna be good. I would really like to see her put to the test there. Like, I'm sure there's something that she would not respond well to by somebody else doing something negative to her.
Really do. No one can make you feel anything but you. Now, once again, that is not saying that what I said was the right thing to say. It obviously wasn't. If there are people out there...
So why say that at all? Why say that at all? Why say if there are people out there? There are people out there who were upset, Cindy. There's no if about it. Your comments were filled with people that were upset about that language. I read them off in my last video about this situation.
There who were hurt by it, no matter what the reason. If they're in that level of their healing where it really truly did hurt and disturb them, then I am truly sorry for that. That is honestly the last thing I ever want to do. I made a mistake.
It's just the way that she says it. It seems like she doesn't really believe that there are people out there that are genuinely upset. And that is wild to me. That is a wild way to apologize to somebody. To be like, well, if you were. Like, girl, no, they're sitting here telling you they were. Like, I can't imagine a friend coming up to me and telling me, and granted, these people are not her friends, right? Like, these are people in the comments in the internet who she's literally never met. But let's say a friend comes up to you, right? They say like, oh, I really didn't like this thing that you did. It made me feel uncomfortable. It made me feel sad. It made me feel triggered, whatever it might be. And then you said, well, if you really felt that way, like, how do you think they're going to respond? They're going to be like, no, I do feel that way. I just told you I did. It's wild to me. Like, at this point, I'd rather her just say, like, I don't apologize for it, because it doesn't feel like she thinks people were actually upset. It feels like she thinks that the internet is out to get her, which is so funny to me because she just did this whole lecture about how nobody can make you feel any type of way. So, like, why does it feel like you're feeling some type of a way by the people who are upset that you said those things?
Didn't realize that it would hurt or upset anyone, or obviously I wouldn't have done it. Of course, that's not my intention ever on my channel. My intention is just to share my life, the fun things I do, my mental health journey, and just my life. And I know that being a content creator, sometimes me just existing pisses people off. A lot of people don't agree with my lifestyle. They don't agree with my choices, and that's fine.
Okay, this is not about you just existing, though. This is about you, like, you're now conflating it with other things in your life that, yeah, might seem like very silly for people to be upset with. But this isn't just about you existing. This is a actual specific comment that you made that was offensive.
Don't need them to or want them to. I'm not the creator for everybody, but I never want to consciously do or say something that would hurt other people.
Then don't.
Like, I don't want to ever purposely do that.
Don't.
And if there's some way that I could do something differently so that it wouldn't hurt people, I would much rather do that. So going forward in the future, I'll be much more cognizant of the language that I use for those of my viewers who are in a place where it still might hurt them, and I do really understand that. I truly do.
So, let's see you actually make the change then, because also, as I pointed out, not the first uncomfortable comment that she's made on her channel, okay? Not the first time that she said something suspicious and followed it up with, I didn't intend to do that, and if I would have known that I would make you upset, I just wouldn't have shared it, you know? Not the first time, so let's make some actual changes now, Cindy.
So the second thing I want to talk about today, though, is I feel like this is a good time to address this because I've seen this so much in my comments over the past couple days to weeks since I posted that video.
Wait.
The people who...
Wait, this is about to... I'm going to rewind a little bit so we can get the full thought out, but, like, this is going to be about something else, too? This is not just about the comments at the Pixies concert? See, that also feels like a lot. That also feels like a lot to couple an apology for that with whatever this is about to be.
Couple days to weeks since I posted that video are the people who make hating someone online like their full-time hobby, their full-time job, their whole life. I see people that is what they do. I don't think they have any other life or hobbies or anything. I think this is just genuinely what they do for entertainment, possibly, but also because I feel like it gives them a sense of superiority, a sense of power. Maybe they feel that they could have agency over someone else's life because they feel powerless in their own lives. That's what I personally believe it is. But there could be any number of reasons that these people do this. But it's people...
Now, Miss Ma'am, how are we going to take a video that's supposed to be about you apologizing for the harm that you caused, for the pain, the hurt that you caused, and switch it into a deflection of like, well, I don't know what y'all losers that spend your whole lives online just hating on me are doing. Like, I don't understand y'all. Like, that is deflection, girl. Like, certainly maybe there's a time to talk about a community of people that doesn't like you, but not in the video that's about you apologizing. It's like shifting the conversation to Cindy's the victim here. And she did this with the Mexican restaurant situation as well, right? Like, she's shifting it to, well, I'm the problem here. Like, y'all are being so mean to me. Y'all are being so rude to me. Because, like, the Mexican restaurant situation, actually, it wasn't necessarily Cindy that did it. It was a lot of people in my comments at the time were, like, trying to get upset that, like, people were trying to cancel Cindy and that cancel culture was awful. But the problem with cancel culture and what Cindy is doing here is that it's shifting the conversation from being a conversation about the people who were hurt and the ways that they were hurt and the ways that we can change our behavior to no longer hurt those people. And it's shifting it to poor Cindy. Cindy's a victim here. Oh, poor Cindy. She has a community of people who don't like her. Like, you can have that conversation another time. Right now, we're here to talk about you apologizing for the language you use that hurt people. You know, like, silly, goofy. She really should have, you know, like, actually the best part of her argument would have been, you know, I myself am a victim of abuse. I understand how difficult that can be and how processing those feelings can be difficult. And, like, maybe if you hear this language, that it is really hurtful and that was not what I intended to do. And I'm so sorry. Like, she really should have just done that and left it there. Like, that's why I was like, the first minute and a half of this video, not that bad in hindsight. Not that bad at all.
People like this and this.
Oh, she said.
Already.
Wait, she said, I have the receipts, but I'm going to leave them up on the screen for 2 seconds. Wait, let me see if I can't pause them and read them for you.
Do this. But it's people like this.
Okay, this is from a user named Derpy Del Plays. And they said, too little, too late. Don't even know what that comment is left on, where it was left, what the context for that comment is, but okay.
And this.
And this one is from Nala9750 and says, apology means nothing now. She liked the garbage that you wrote. So you're right. Forget it, Cindy. Don't apologize because obviously you and your defenders don't get it and never will. I also don't even know if that's like people super hating. Neither of those feel like super mean or nasty. It sounds like some people who are fed up with, like, apologies from Cindy because she's apologized many times and nothing changes. Or she does things again. Or, like I mentioned from the Mexican restaurant situation, she, like, her initial responses to that were don't care and don't take things so seriously.
Who have already decided that my apology would never be good enough. It's too little, too late. I hearted somebody's comment who said I shouldn't apologize, so now my apology is worthless. Like,
well, maybe it is. I mean, like, I'm personally always up for, you know, giving people a chance. I'll listen to what you have to say. I'll hear you out. But are you saying, I didn't even see that personally myself, but are you saying that you hearted a comment that said you shouldn't apologize? Then yeah, I would imagine that people now are not taking your apology that seriously. It doesn't seem like you're taking your apology that seriously, Cindy.
These people have already decided to hate me, and that's fine. I don't need their validation or approval, but I do want to talk about this strange phenomena of people who latch onto content creators solely to hate them. And what I've observed about this, and it's obviously it's not...
I'm sorry, you should have picked some better examples of comments that were left, because I'm sure there probably are some people who are just malicious for no reason, but those 2 comments were not examples of people who hate you for no reason. And those 2 comments just sounded like people who were fed up. It sounds like people who have had enough. That's all it sounded like to me. It's honestly so crazy. And I also remember back whenever I first started covering Cindy, almost all of the people on, like, the subreddits and stuff that were talking about it at the time were people who said, like, I've been Cindy's fan for a long time, I've watched Pleasant Sims for a long time, and I've just had enough. And that's what both of those comments sounded like. It sounded like people who have watched you do these things time and time again and said, I'm no longer gonna sit here and watch you do this.
Just me, they do this to many other creators. Most other creators have some kind of community like this around them. And what I have realized about this is that these people are making a choice. You are making a choice to sit here and watch someone that you clearly do not like or agree with. And also I want to say this is not in relation to the apology that I made earlier. No, that is a genuine apology.
No, this is in relation to the apology that you said earlier, because one, it's clear that those comments were about whether or not you were going to apologize about that situation and if they were going to take your apology seriously. And two, it connects because earlier in your apology you said time and time again, you said multiple times, if you are genuinely upset, which now makes sense because you believe that a lot of the people that were upset about your comments were people who were just there to hate you, and that there's no chance that any of those people could just be actually seriously offended by the things you said.
That I've heard, this is kind of like a separate general issue, okay? Not necessarily related to the concert video.
But
this is just something.
But it is, again, those two comments were clearly about, like, you apologizing. I mean, you didn't give a lot of context, but if I had to piece together the puzzle pieces, I would almost bet that those were about whether or not they were going to accept an apology from you regarding those comments.
Thing that I've observed in my own world as a content creator. So you are making a choice to sit here and watch someone that you clearly don't like, that you hate, that makes you so angry that you will leave hundreds of hate comments and go onto forums and talk about it. And you are making a choice to stew in your own misery and offense and outrage. Like, what kind of life is that, man? I just don't. I do kind of understand it. I do. You feel like you're part of a group, like this group of people who hate the same person. You feel like you're part of something. You've got little inside jokes. You've got, you feel like you're part of a group. And as humans, we love to feel like we're part of a group. We're part of a tribe. Makes us feel included. I understand that completely. But
see, here's the thing, is that there are definitely, I mean, like, I literally just referenced, like, subreddits about Cindy, right? So, like, there are groups of people who do get together and spend time talking about Cindy. That's fine. That's a fact. Those groups exist. There are people who don't like Cindy that do give her a lot of time and energy. But she is using this to deflect from what the real problem was here to begin with, which was her behavior. And that is so irritating. Have that conversation on another video, Cindy. If this has nothing to do with the apology, then why include it here? Why include it here, Cindy? It's so goofy. It's so goofy. It's absolutely deflection on your end.
These groups of people who come together solely to hate and dislike and just keep, like, stewing in this misery and pain and hatred. I'm so sorry for you. I really am. That is a choice that you were making for your life.
Yeah, I don't know if she wants to talk about the choices people make for their lives, because Cindy's made a lot of questionable choices for her life and has wanted us to care about it on the internet. So, just, like, coming in here and trying to be a therapist over all of this and, like, trying to have some level of, like expertise or enlightenment. Like, she's giving big, like, I'm enlightened, I'm truly healed, nobody understands mental health and, like, managing their emotions like I do. And it's crazy to me because of all the videos I've watched from Cindy over my time of covering her, like, she's not very often demonstrated actual enlightenment. Like, she's talking the talk, but I have seen many examples of her not being able to walk the walk. You know what I'm saying?
To me, if I was watching a content creator and I really disliked them, didn't like what they were saying, didn't like what they were doing, didn't agree with them, and there are many content creators I feel that way about, I don't watch them.
True,
I go
fair
watch
enough.
something or do something that makes me happy and brings me joy. And I think that's a much better way to live, at least from my perspective. I know I can't control what anybody else does. I don't want to control what anybody else does. But you can, like, in case you didn't know, you can make the choice to just stop watching the stuff that makes you unhappy or stuff that you don't like.
I do agree. I absolutely do agree. I am 100% there with you. If something or somebody is doing something that does not bring you joy, like, I 100% agree, stop watching. That's why I take breaks from some of the content creators that I watch from time to time, because I don't get the same enjoyment out of it that I once upon a time did. It's why I took a break from Cindy for a long time, actually. I think I've talked about that a little bit, but, like, at one point her life was just so sad that it was hard for me to watch. Like, she was, like, getting intoxicated in videos a lot. She clearly wasn't dealing with her mental health well, and I'm like, I can't sit here and watch her do this. Like, that is sad to me. I don't find enjoyment in it. But I think all of that being said, and it being true that, like, I agree that you should take breaks from stuff that is no longer serving you in a positive way, I also think she's missing that a lot of people are people who are genuine fans of hers that are saying these things because they want her to do better, because they want to be able to enjoy her content. I said this at the time of the Mexican restaurant incident as well. And that's why I also emphasize that, like, back when I read those subreddits at the time, that people started their posts off with, I've been following Cindy for so many years. I really enjoyed this particular content that Cindy pointed out. I'm so disappointed that this is the way she's behaving. It's because these people did care about you at one time. They have invested a lot of time into you. A lot of people have, like, fully sent you things in the mail. They've invested money into you. They've sent you donations on stream. And so I think she's missing that, like, there are a good chunk of people, genuinely, Cindy, who care that you said these things and it hurt them, and they never anticipated that one of their favorite creators is going to do something to hurt them like that.
You can make a choice to get off your phone and go outside and enjoy your life like I'm going to do. We create our own reality based on our own beliefs and perceptions, and I will never stop saying that because it is fucking true.
Wouldn't it be a gag if people made the choice to go out and enjoy their lives and then, like, Cindy got like, no views? Wouldn't it be a gag if people are like, you know what, Cindy, you're right, bye. See ya. I know that that's not entirely true, because I know that there are people absolutely making excuses for Cindy and Cindy's behavior. Like, I know that she has fans that are okay with her saying those things. Obviously, if she was able to like a comment that said, I don't think you should apologize, people are going to be on the same page as her. But it just would be funny to me after she's sitting here, like, telling people to go outside and touch grass. If they really were like, yeah, I'm going to go outside and touch grass and not watch your videos.
And so if you're living in a place where you're constantly outraged and upset and pissed off and brigading online, you might want to look inside yourself and ask yourself why that is, and if you're really happy doing this, what are you really getting out of this? I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I try to atone for them when I can. I try to take responsibility when I can. But I'm just a regular person, you know?
You try to take responsibility for them when you can, but then you spend an apology video, you spend more time talking about the silly hater community that you have instead of actually spending this time on apologizing. Because for the record, she stopped apologizing around the 4-minute mark, and this is a 10-minute and 45-second long video.
I'm nothing special. I'm just a regular person who has lots of problems, lots of trauma, lots of struggles, and I'm working my way through my life, and I'm sharing that. And I get that it's going to upset people. But the people who are just chronically online with this hatred, man, I really hope you can turn it around for yourself, because it's fucking sad.
Y'all are the sad ones, not me, not Cindy. Cindy's not the sad one. Y'all need to deal with your sad, pathetic lives. I'm sorry, I just cannot with this.
I'm not the creator for you if you don't agree with my lifestyle or choices.
I'm not the creator for you if you don't agree that I shouldn't be able to just say offensive things with no repercussions. That's what this is giving.
It makes no difference to me, but I would strongly advise you to think about what it's doing to your mental health to keep watching me.
I'd strongly recommend you to just consider what's going on with your own mental health before you lecture other people about theirs. It's wild.
upset because I do care about you. I do have empathy for you, even if I don't even know you exist. Tell. Even if you're just a random commenter whose name I see, I do care about everybody who watches my videos. And I wish happiness and joy and love for all of you.
Oh, thank you.
And I will never do anything intentionally to hurt anyone. I'm just going to live my life the best I know how, and sometimes I'm going to fuck up. And if I do, I'll make amends for it the best way I know how. I'm always going to do what I believe is right. I will never allow some random commenters to bully me into doing something insincere. And as Anthony Bourdain so eloquently said, I appreciate my audience, but I feel no obligation to give them what they expect or want.
Please, we know. We know, Cindy. Yeah, you didn't have to reiterate that for me. I know.
Just going to continue to live my life. If I do something that I feel hurt someone, of course I'll apologize for it, and that's really all I can do. I'm not going to walk on eggshells on my own channel. I'm going to live in the way that I think is best, but I will obviously try to be cognizant of the language that I use so that I don't hurt anyone again. I never want or intend to cause any pain or distress to anyone, especially people who have gone through significant trauma. So I hope that those of you who I did hurt can forgive me. If you can't, I understand that too. I wish you the best if you move on from my channel. If you want to stick around, I'm going to be sharing some more of my life.
Oh, thank God.
And to the people who want to dictate the way I live or other content creators live or bully us into submission.
Girl, you are not being bullied. You are not being bullied into submission. People ask you not to say some offensive shit, Cindy. You're not being bullied. You're not the victim here.
To living up to your expectations, you can continue to fuck right off. This culture of faux outrage and canceling everyone who says something.
See, you can't sit here and apologize for something and then talk about faux outrage at the end of all of this. You can't call it faux outrage, but apologize. Like, you clearly didn't think people should be upset about it. You didn't take this seriously at all. Take the first... I know I said I've been going back and forth about that first minute and 30 seconds, but you can take it all. You can take it all back. This is a garbage apology, mama. A garbage.
That you don't agree with or that hurts your feelings is ridiculous and insincere in my opinion. I won't pander to my audience and I won't cater to anyone else's agenda. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who watches my videos for whatever reason you watch them for.
I appreciate you all, but if you hate me, fuck off.
And I'll see you with a new video very soon.
All right, bye, Cindy. Thanks so much for that. I'm kind of curious about the comments section now, actually. This person said, saying sorry then adding but right after is not an apology to me. It's backpedaling. If you're really sorry, you wouldn't try to defend your actions. As a longtime viewer and supporter and someone who found a lot of solace in your videos, you are also hurting your long-term and supporting viewers by being this newfound person who doesn't or pretends not to give a fuck about anything. It sucks. Another person says, I'm a fan, but this isn't an apology. Words have meaning. I truly love watching your cooking videos, but to brush off the fact that the word rape means nothing, rape is crazy. It feels like the right thing to do. Again, is wild. It's a stupid word. What? I know everyone's in a different place with their healing journey. No, rape is rape. You are better off not saying anything. This whole nobody can hurt you but yourself spiel will fizzle out once your new relationship ends/leaves the honeymoon phase. And then you'll turn to your audience for attention, empathy, and validation. If you don't believe this is a pattern, just scroll through your video history. I hope this behavior is helping you get picked, but when the downfall inevitably happens, rewatch this video and practice what you preach. Good luck. Terminally online, so you, the person who makes sitting on the ground sobbing videos about her recent breakups and drunken binges and runs to YouTube to vent, okay girl, not the hypocrisy. So... doesn't feel like, I mean, I'm not going to go through here and read all of them, but it does not feel like, it doesn't feel like it's going well for Cindy in the comments, but it's fine, because she's not going to pander to the comments or the people in them, you know? Like, that's not the kind of girl she is. She doesn't do pandering. Y'all can fuck off. That was legitimately, I mean, like, I think maybe one of the only worst apologies I've seen in recent history is obviously, like, calling Ballinger and her ukulele. because that just absolutely, like, took the piss. But to apologize and then go on about faux online hatred and faux outrage and all this, that, the other, wild. Wild, Cindy. Wild, because I think that there genuinely were a lot of people who were upset with you. Anyways, I gotta go because I think the new Big Brother cast is supposed to be posting right about now while I'm wrapping up this video. So I'm gonna go check that out and get so excited to be obsessed with Big Brother and or outraged by Big Brother for 3 months. Otherwise, that's all I got. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give me a subscribe. Make sure to subscribe. Oh my God, she's got me all flustered. If you're brand new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I had so much fun today, I guess. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!